Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks for convening this important hearing. I appreciate the witnesses being here. You know, like many of us who have served significant time in the military, this issue confronts us all. It certainly confronted me in a personal, tragic way in my Marine Corps career. And I'm proud of the work that this committee has undertaken. My first bill that I ever co-sponsored as a U.S. Senator was the Clay Hunt Suicide Prevention Act, which was signed into law by President Obama. But despite the passage of legislation, including the Hannon Act, we're seeing a rise in suicides. Mr. Chairman, you and I have worked hard on this issue of suicide prevention coordinators. They need to be fully resourced. That's going to be an important issue. I had the opportunity to meet with a great group of veterans just this past weekend on the Kenai Peninsula in Alaska, led by a strong veteran named Brandon Miller, who brought together a small group of vets to talk about these topics. And these veterans, my God, seen a lot of combat, but they've also seen a lot of suicide. One of the issues they raised with me, it looks like the VA is starting to clear this procedure, which two of these veterans swore by as really saving their lives, is this issue of the stellate ganglion block treatment. I just got word, we pressed this, I raised this with Secretary Wilkie a couple of years ago, that it's starting to be approved in Alaska. Can you gentlemen comment on this quickly, just with regard to the importance of this issue and where the VA is on it?
Yeah, thank you, Senator. We are always looking for new effective treatments for mental health conditions. And I would like to take this for the record so we get back to you with the most recent and current information.
Good, Doctor. This is something that my veterans back home, again, just this past weekend, really think is important. And I've been raising this for a couple of years. From the evidence that we've seen, it doesn't work for everybody, but it clearly is saving lives. So if you can get back to me and my constituents on that, that would be very helpful. Dr. Carroll, let me ask, I want to follow up here on this issue of some of the provisions in the Hannon Act. One of the things that I was part of the group of senators that contributed to in that important act was this directed study with the VA to work with the National Academy of Sciences, focusing on the effects of opioids on all-cause mortality of veterans, so specifically suicide. This goes into the whole issue of the over-medication of veterans, which has been a common problem at the VA. I think the VA is getting its arms around it, but there's been a lot of tragedy as it relates to this. I know during the negotiation process of this legislation, the VA opposed this provision, which essentially is an independent study, not a VA study. Now that the bill has been signed into law, I'm hearing that the VA is seeking the opposite of what was directed by Congress and is not going to implement or support an independent study by the National Academy of Sciences. Is this true? And if it's true, I find it completely unacceptable. Congress gave you a directive. You might not like it, but sometimes independent studies are what is needed. So can you give me a very upfront, no wavering answer on what the heck's going on with this provision?
Yeah, thank you, Senator. I appreciate your question, and certainly VA's intention is to fully meet the intention of the direction given to us by our oversight body. As we said earlier, we are very grateful for the opportunity that this legislation provides us. I think we're looking, we want to make sure that we meet your intention, and I know that there are some studies currently underway, and I think that may be a point of a discussion that we would like to have at some point. I think to talk through the details, we'd be very happy to sit down with you and other members of the committee to talk through what may be some ways to address the full spirit and intention of the law, and to see if that makes sense. Otherwise, we are fully prepared to move forward in whatever way the committee feels is appropriate for us.
Okay, Dr. Carroll, I appreciate that answer. I think, as I mentioned, we know that this wasn't a provision that was particularly liked by the VA. We still thought it was necessary. And Mr. Chairman, I hope that, in our oversight role, we can work with the VA to institute the spirit, the intent, and the letter of the law, which I think is actually quite clear. But I appreciate you getting back to us in that spirit. So let's make that happen. Independent study on an issue that we all care about here, over-medication of our vets and the suicide issue. And we will work with you on that, but we want to make sure that what we directed the VA to do is what the VA does. So I look forward to working with you on that, Mr. Chairman, and Dr. Carroll. Thank you.